I never thought I'd be posting something like this, but here I am, trying to wrap my head around how everything fell apart so quickly. I'm still in shock, to be honest. I've been married to my wife, Emily, for 5 years, and up until recently, I thought we were doing fine. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but nothing that made me think she was capable of doing something like this. A bit of backstory first. I've been running a YouTube channel for about 6 years. It started as a hobby, something I did in my spare time after work. My content was pretty niche. I covered technology reviews, unboxings, and tips for building PCs. For a while, it was just a passion project. But after a couple of years, the channel started gaining traction. I remember hitting 50,000 subscribers and thinking that was a huge milestone. From there, things just kept growing. It became my full-time job when I hit around 250,000 subs, and eventually, I built a community of over 600,000 subscribers. My channel was my livelihood. I spent hours every day creating content, editing videos, and engaging with my audience. I took pride in the fact that I had built something from the ground up, something that was mine. Emily was supportive at first. At least that's what I thought. She never really got involved in the channel, but she would occasionally make jokes about how much time I spent on it. I figured it was just harmless teasing. We had very different interests, and I didn't expect her to be super invested in what I was doing. But looking back now, there were signs that things weren't as good as I thought they were. It started with little comments Emily would make, like, "You spend more time talking to your subscribers than you do with me," or, "I feel like your channel is more important than our marriage." I always tried to reassure her, telling her that I loved her and that the channel was just work. I even cut back on my filming schedule a few times to spend more time with her, but it was never enough. I thought we were working through it, but I didn't realize that resentment had been building up inside her. Last month, we had one of our biggest arguments yet. Emily had been pushing for us to take a vacation together, and I was in the middle of a major sponsorship deal. I told her we could go, but I just needed to finish up this project first. That didn't sit well with her, and she accused me of prioritizing my work over our relationship again. The argument escalated, and she said something that stuck with me. "You care more about strangers online than you do about me." I tried to brush it off at the time, but those words lingered. We didn't talk much for the next couple of days, but I figured we'd eventually sit down and work things out like we always did. I had no idea what was coming next. 2 weeks ago, I came home from running some errands and went to check my YouTube channel like I usually do. But when I tried to log in, I couldn't. My password didn't work. At first, I thought it was just a mistake or maybe a glitch, so I tried resetting my password. But when I checked my email for the recovery link, there was nothing there. That's when I noticed an email from YouTube that had come in earlier in the day. "Your account has been deleted." I froze. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I clicked on the email, and sure enough, it was a confirmation that my YouTube channel, along with all its content, had been permanently deleted. I felt like my entire world had just come crashing down. 6 years of work gone, hundreds of videos, countless hours of editing, building a community, engaging with sponsors. Everything I had built had just vanished. My mind was racing. How could this have happened? I immediately started going through all the possibilities. Had I been hacked? Was it some kind of mistake on YouTube's part? I felt sick to my stomach as I scrambled to figure out what was going on. Then it hit me. Emily. I don't know why I suspected her at first, but something in the back of my mind kept pointing in that direction. I went upstairs to where she was sitting, scrolling through her phone, and I just asked her outright, "Did you delete my YouTube channel?" She looked up at me, and I could see from her expression that she knew exactly what I was talking about. She didn't even try to deny it. She just said, "Yes, I did." I was speechless. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My entire career had been wiped out, and it was my wife who had done it. I asked her why, and her response shocked me even more. "You spend all your time on that stupid channel," she said. I was tired of feeling like I was second place. "You care more about your subscribers and your videos than you do about me. So I figured if I deleted it, maybe you'd finally see how much I've been hurting." I was shaking with anger, but also with disbelief. How could she do something so destructive? I told her that the channel wasn't just some hobby. It was my job, our income. But she didn't seem to care. She kept saying she did it for our marriage, that she thought it would bring us closer together if I didn't have the channel to distract me anymore. At that moment, I realized that our relationship was beyond saving. I couldn't believe that the woman I had married would do something so spiteful, so destructive, without even talking to me about it first. She didn't just delete my YouTube channel. She deleted my career, my livelihood. And for what? Because she felt neglected? I didn't say much after that. I just grabbed a few things and left the house. I needed space. And I couldn't even look at her without feeling an overwhelming sense of betrayal. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been trying to pick up the pieces. I've contacted YouTube to see if there's any way to recover the channel, but the chances are slim. They're investigating it, but from what I've been told, once a channel is permanently deleted, it's incredibly hard to restore. Emily has tried reaching out to me multiple times, but I haven't been able to bring myself to talk to her. I don't know if I ever will. I've been staying with a friend while I figure out what to do next. I feel lost, to be honest. My entire life revolved around that channel. And now it's gone because of someone I thought I could trust. I don't know what's going to happen with my marriage. Right now, I can't even imagine going back to her after what she did. I'm angry, hurt, and devastated, and it's going to take a long time for me to recover from this, emotionally and financially. I've been thinking about starting over with a new channel, but it's hard to find the motivation right now. 6 years of hard work were wiped out in a single moment, and it feels like an impossible task to rebuild everything from scratch. But at the same time, I know I can't let this define me. I built that channel once, and maybe, just maybe, I can do it again. Over the next few days, I stayed at my friend Mark's place. He was a good guy, didn't ask too many questions, didn't push me to talk. He just let me be, which is exactly what I needed. I wasn't ready to unpack everything with anyone, not even myself. Every time I tried, it felt like I was drowning in this overwhelming sense of loss. It wasn't just about the channel. It was about trust, about betrayal, about how someone I thought was on my side had taken something that meant so much to me and destroyed it without even blinking. I couldn't stop thinking about how easy it had been for Emily to do it. How she'd just gone to my account, pressed a few buttons, and poof, gone. 6 years of work vanished. It's hard to explain to people who don't make content just how much time and effort goes into it. Every single subscriber was someone who had chosen to stick around, to watch my videos, to support what I was doing. It took years of late nights, early mornings, and countless hours editing and responding to comments to build that community. And it was all gone just like that. On the second night at Mark's, I finally opened up to him. We were sitting on the couch, half watching some random show on Netflix, when he turned to me and said, "Man, you got to talk about it at some point. It's eating you up." I sighed and rubbed my eyes, feeling the exhaustion weighing on me. She deleted my YouTube channel. I said quietly, barely able to get the words out. Mark looked confused at first, but when I explained the whole story, the argument, her frustration, and how she'd wiped out everything, I saw the disbelief on his face. "No way," he said, shaking his head. "She really deleted your channel? The one with over 500,000 subscribers? Why would she do that?" I shrugged, feeling the anger bubbling up again. She said I wasn't paying enough attention to her, that I cared more about the channel than I did about her. I guess she thought deleting it would fix things. Mark didn't say anything for a few seconds, probably because he didn't know what to say. I mean, how do you respond to that? Finally, he let out a low whistle. "That's messed up, man. I can't even imagine." We talked for a while after that, and it helped a little. Mark reminded me that I had built the channel from the ground up once, and I could do it again if I wanted to. "You've got talent," he said. "You know how to make content that people want to watch. You'll bounce back." The problem was I wasn't sure if I wanted to bounce back. The thought of starting over, of grinding day and night again just to rebuild what I had lost, seemed exhausting. And it wasn't just the physical work, it was the emotional toll of knowing that someone I loved had torn it all down without a second thought. As the days went on, I found myself checking my email obsessively, hoping for some kind of miracle from YouTube. I had submitted several support tickets, explaining what had happened and pleading with them to restore the channel. But I wasn't holding my breath. I knew the odds weren't good. Deleting a channel is a pretty final move, and YouTube's policies are strict. Still, part of me hoped that maybe they could recover the data. Maybe there was something they could do. In the meantime, I couldn't get Emily out of my head. I hadn't spoken to her since that night. She had texted me a few times, mostly apologizing, saying she didn't mean for things to go this far, that she was hurting too. but I didn't know how to respond. What could she possibly say to fix this? How do you come back from something like that? On the fifth day, I finally went back to the house. I had been avoiding it, staying at Mark's place, and keeping myself busy, but I knew I couldn't hide forever. I needed to face the reality of my situation, and part of that meant seeing Emily. When I walked through the front door, the house was eerily quiet. Emily was sitting at the kitchen table, her hands wrapped around a mug of coffee, staring off into space. When she saw me, she stood up, her face filled with a mixture of relief and guilt. "I didn't think you were coming back," she said softly. I didn't know what to say at first. I just stood there looking at her, trying to process everything. The anger was still there, but so was the sadness. I had loved this woman. We had built a life together, shared so many moments, and now it felt like all of that had crumbled. "I didn't plan on coming back," I finally said. I needed to grab some things." She nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. "I know what I did was wrong. I just felt so frustrated, so ignored. I thought if I deleted it, you'd finally see how much this was affecting me. But I didn't think it would." She stopped, her voice breaking. "I didn't think it would hurt you like this." I couldn't help but laugh bitterly at that. "You didn't think deleting my entire career would hurt me? How could you not see that?" She wiped at her eyes, her shoulders slumped. "I was desperate. I felt like you weren't hearing me, like no matter what I said, you weren't listening. I wanted us to fix things, but I didn't know how to get through to you." I shook my head. "You could have talked to me. Really talked to me, instead of doing something so destructive." "I know," she whispered. "I know I messed up. I'm so sorry." There was a long silence between us. I could feel her waiting for me to say something, to forgive her, maybe, but I couldn't. "Not yet. I don't know if I can get the channel back," I said quietly. "Even if I can, I don't know if I can forgive you for what you did." Her face crumpled at that, and I could see the pain in her eyes. "Please," she said, her voice barely audible. "Don't leave me." I didn't respond. I just turned and walked up the stairs to our bedroom. I packed a bag with the essentials, grabbed my laptop, and left the house without saying another word. I couldn't stay there. Not yet. For the next few days, I tried to focus on finding a way forward. I had a meeting scheduled with YouTube support team, and they were looking into whether the channel could be restored. It was a glimmer of hope, but I knew there was a good chance I'd have to start over from scratch. That thought still terrified me, but I was beginning to accept that it might be my only option. As for Emily, I still don't know where we stand. I'm not sure if I can forgive her, and even if I could, I don't know if our relationship could ever go back to what it was before. The trust is gone, and without trust, what's left? I'm still figuring things out, but one thing's for sure. Whatever happens next, I'm not going to let this define me. I've worked too hard to give up now, even if it means starting over.